Now let us discuss what is centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is a pseudo force which has to be introduced when we sit in a rotating frame. Because a rotating frame is always an accelerating frame. Because even if speed is constant, there is still centripetal acceleration. Because even if speed is constant, there is still centripetal you know that without centripetal acceleration there can be no circular motion. So if you sit in a rotating frame, so let us take this example. Suppose this is a ball and it is taking a horizontal circle. Suppose the angular velocity is constant, that is it is a uniform circular motion, omega is constant. So in that case, if you sit in the frame of this rotating ball, so when you sit in the frame of the ball, you will see that this ball is at rest, right? So if this is at rest, that means net force on this ball is zero. But because it is a rotating frame, there has to be a pseudo force which has to be applied to apply Newton's law. You know that in an accelerating frame, Newton's law is not valid. But to use Newton's law in an accelerating frame, you must introduce a pseudo force. You know that the direction of pseudo force is opposite to the acceleration of the frame. And its magnitude is mass of system multiplied by acceleration of frame. Mass of system multiplied by acceleration of frame. So when you are sitting in the frame of the ball, that means this is an accelerating frame. Why? Because this ball is having centripetal acceleration. Now the centripetal acceleration is towards the center. So the pseudo force that you have to introduce is away from the center. So when you draw the FBD of this in the frame of the ball, there will be force of gravity, there will be tension, and there will be a pseudo force which is opposite to the acceleration of the frame. Now if it is rotating with omega, the centripetal acceleration is omega square r. So you have to introduce a pseudo force which is equal to m into acceleration of the frame. In this case, you will say that because the net force has to be zero, therefore you will say that T cos theta is equal to mg. So this angle is theta, and T sin theta is equal to m omega square r. Means in this case you will say T sin theta is balanced by the centrifugal force. This pseudo force is called the centrifugal force. Okay, you will get the same result that we were getting before. Tan theta is equal to omega square r by g. The result is the same, but the difference is we have changed the frame of the observation. In this case, we are observing by sitting on the ball itself. When you are sitting on the ball itself, because this is an accelerating frame, what will happen? You have to introduce a pseudo force. And this pseudo force, which will be opposite to the acceleration of the frame, is called centrifugal force. Okay. Now, if there is also a tangential acceleration, if there is also a tangential acceleration, in that case, pseudo force will be, or the centrifugal force will be opposite to the net acceleration of the frame. Pseudo force will be opposite to the net acceleration of the frame. Centrifugal force again is not a force. It is only introduced in FBD if you are sitting in a rotating frame. If you are not sitting in a rotating frame, if you are observing from the ground, then you will say that this T sine theta is providing the centripetal force. But if you are sitting in the ball itself, then you will say that because the net force is zero, so you have to introduce this false or fictitious force. Okay, and you will say that T sine theta is balanced by m omega square r. So in some books they say that centrifugal force is balancing the centripetal force, but actually that is not correct. Centrifugal force is not a force which balances centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is a pseudo force which comes into the picture only if you are sitting in the rotating frame. Okay, and it is not necessary that it will balance the centripetal force. Why? Because in this case, when there is also a tangential acceleration, then the centrifugal force will be opposite to the net acceleration. So because this ball is also having the tangential acceleration, now this will be the net acceleration and the pseudo force will be opposite to the net acceleration. So it is wrong to say that centrifugal force balances centripetal force. Okay, but yes, if the angular velocity is constant and you are sitting in the same frame of the ball, in that case you will say that the magnitude of centripetal force is same as the magnitude of centrifugal force and they are opposite to each other. But again, I am saying centrifugal force is not a force which balances centripetal force. Centrifugal force is a false or fictitious or pseudo force. It comes into the picture only if you are sitting in the frame of the rotating object. Okay, and that too you will apply it only if the circular motion is uniform. If it is non-uniform, it becomes a complex force which is opposite to the net acceleration. Now let us take one question. In this question, it is given that a ring, this is a ring which can slide along the rod kept at midpoint of a smooth, this is a smooth rod, and this is a ring. The rod is rotated with a constant angular velocity omega about vertical axis. So this is the vertical axis, that means it is rotating in the horizontal plane. Axis is perpendicular to the plane of rotation. If the axis is this, that means rotation is like this. Okay, so now ring is released from the midpoint. At this point the ring is released. Then find the velocity of the ring when it just leaves the rod. Let us sit in the frame of the rod. So you are sitting in the frame of the rod and you are sitting in the ring itself. So what will you see? You will see that due to this rotation of the rod, you are sitting in an accelerating frame because there is centripetal acceleration. So if you are sitting in the frame of the rod, you know that there has to be a pseudo force. So you will say that this is the ring, and because there is no friction, that's why there is no force in this direction. So the force will be in this direction, m omega square r, where r is the radius at any time. Okay, now m omega square r is providing the force. M omega square r is providing the force to this ring so that it can move towards right. Okay, there is no force towards the left. So the only force that is there is towards the right. This is the pseudo force, and this is coming into the picture because you are sitting in the frame of the ring. Now you will write m omega square r must be equal to ma. So a is equal to omega square r. Right? Now this a is acceleration of the ring relative to the rod, because you are sitting in the rod frame. This a is acceleration of the ring relative to the rod. So you will say that a is equal to omega square r. Now you can write a as v dv by dr is equal to omega square r, where v is the relative speed of v is the relative speed of ring with respect to rod. Everything is in the relative frame. So you will write v dv is equal to omega square r dr. Omega is a constant. At r is equal to L by 2, the speed is 0, because it is given that it started from this point, r is equal to L by 2, where the speed was 0. and at r is equal to L, we need to find the speed. So from this you will get v square by 2 is equal to omega square r square by 2, but r square you will have to integrate it from L by 2 to L. So from this you will get v square, 2 to cancel, v square is equal to omega square into L square minus L square by 4, and that will be equal to 3 omega square L square by 4. Therefore the velocity with which the ring leaves is root 3 omega L by 2. Now this is the velocity, but this is velocity with respect to the rod. But the rod is also moving, right? The rod is also moving. So at this point, the velocity of the rod is omega L. When the ring leaves the rod, it has a relative velocity in this direction, and that is root 3 omega L by 2. But it is also having a velocity in the perpendicular direction, and that is omega L. So the net velocity of the ring with respect to ground will be the vector addition of these two. So the net velocity of the ring when it leaves the rod is under root omega square L square plus 3 omega square L square by 4, and that will be equal to root 7 omega L by 2. Now the next topic is effect of Earth's rotation on acceleration due to gravity. Now acceleration due to gravity, the acceleration due to gravity is always towards the center of Earth. Is always towards the center of Earth. Now when there is rotation of Earth, because you know that Earth is rotating, due to Earth's rotation the net acceleration towards the center changes. Why? Due to rotation of Earth, net acceleration towards the center changes. So let us see what is the change. Suppose you are sitting in the frame of this ball which is placed at an angle lambda with the equator. Now this angle lambda is called latitude angle. So suppose this place on Earth has a latitude angle of lambda. So at this point, because of Earth's rotation, this ball is also rotating with the same angular velocity omega. But the radius of the circular motion of this ball is this. If this capital R is the radius of Earth and this is lambda, then this distance will be R cos lambda. Because if this is lambda, this is also lambda, then this is R cos lambda. Okay. Now, if you are sitting in the frame of the ball, in that case, you will say that there is gravity towards the center, because acceleration due to gravity is always towards the center. So this is the gravity and this is the centrifugal force, because we are sitting in the frame of the ball. Okay, or we are sitting in the rotating frame. Now, if this angle is lambda, this angle is also lambda, then the net force towards the center, becomes mg minus m omega square r cos lambda. Net force becomes what? Mg minus m omega square r cos lambda. But small r is what? This is small r. Small r is what? Capital R cos lambda, right? So the net force will become mg minus m omega square. Small r can be written as capital R cos lambda. Cos lambda into cos lambda becomes cos squared lambda. So the net force becomes mg minus m omega square r cos squared lambda. This net force towards the center is called mg effective. So mg effective is mg minus omega square r cos square lambda. M cancel. So the g effective, if you consider the rotation of Earth also, will be equal to g minus omega square r cos square lambda. Now at the poles, lambda is 90 degree. So that means G effective is G. That means there is no effect of rotation, Earth's rotation, on the acceleration due to gravity at the poles. But at the equator, lambda is 0. In that case, G effective becomes G minus omega square R. So at the equator, the effective gravity is minimum. Effective gravity is minimum. That means when you use a weighing machine, you will say that at the poles you weigh larger compared to what you weigh at the equator. Okay. Now we will start with vertical circular motion. So till now we have discussed circular motion in the horizontal plane. Now if ball is projected such that the axis is horizontal, so the axis is horizontal, this is the horizontal. If the axis is horizontal, in that case you will say that the ball will rotate in a vertical plane. So in the vertical plane, the gravity will also come into the picture. See, this line that we have drawn from the pivot point or the fixed point is the horizontal line. That is the horizontal line at the point of suspension. So in this diagram also we have drawn the horizontal line. This is the horizontal line at the point of suspension. And in this case, in this situation, the ball is below the horizontal line. And in this situation, the ball is above the horizontal line. This is the horizontal line. The ball is above the horizontal line. Okay. Now let us see what will happen in this situation. At this situation, suppose the speed is v dash. Here the speed is v. Now in the vertical circle, the speed will change because of gravity. Because of gravity, I'll tell you, because of gravity, what is happening? So there is gravity. There is this component as well as this component. This component is perpendicular to the radius. So this is basically the tangential component. This is the tangential component of force. And this tangential component of force is mg sin theta. And this is equal to ma tangential. That means A tangential is equal to G sin theta. That means what? That means, and theta keeps on changing. That means it is a complex kinematical motion. Because in this case there is tangential acceleration, and that too it is changing with time. That value of tangential acceleration will change with time. Why will it change with time? Because theta is changing with time. Okay, so this is a complex kinematical situation. Now in the first case we will see what is the tension in the string when the ball is at this point. So suppose T is the tension in the string when the ball is at this point. Now you know that this is undergoing a circular motion. Now if it is performing a circular motion, you know that there has to be a centripetal force. If you draw the FBD of the ball, you will see that this component is mg cos theta and this component is tension. And we have taken this angle as theta. That means this angle is theta. And if this is theta, this is also theta. So now in this case we will not balance the force vertically. T cos theta is not mg. In this case you will say that there is a centripetal force in this direction. So you will say that T minus mg cos theta is the net centripetal force towards the center. And T minus mg cos theta will be equal to mv dash square by r, because at this point the speed is v dash. So the tension at this point is mg cos theta plus mv dash square by r. So this is the tension at a point which is below the horizontal line. Now let us see what happens above the horizontal line. Above the horizontal line, we are taking an angle theta from the upward vertical. So when the ball reaches above the horizontal line, the situation changes somewhat. See, in this case, there is the force of gravity and there is a force of tension. In this case, you will say that, and if this angle is theta, this angle is also theta. So in this case, you will say that mg cos theta is towards the center. The tension is also towards the center. So mg cos theta plus T together provide the centripetal force, that is mv square by L, because the radius will be L. So in this case also you can write the radius as L. Okay, so in this case you will say the tension becomes mv square by L minus mg cos theta. It is very useful if you remember the formulas. Complex questions could be done easily if you remember these formulas. So the first thing that we have done is finding the tension below the horizontal line and above the horizontal line. Okay, so now I will write these 2 points again. The tension below the horizontal line is mg cos theta plus mv square by L, and tension above the horizontal line is mv square by L minus mg cos theta. But listen to me carefully, this theta that we have taken is from different points. In the first case, theta is measured from the downward vertical, and in the second case, theta is measured from the upward vertical. Okay, so theta measurement is different in both cases. So tension below the horizontal line is mg cos theta plus mv square by L, and tension above the horizontal line is mv square by L minus mg cos theta. Now listen to me carefully. First point in below, tension can never be zero below the horizontal line. So I'm writing here below points, below horizontal line, and I'm writing here above horizontal line. So below the horizontal line, tension can never be zero because it is the addition of two positive numbers. Tension can never be zero. Okay, second, see, this is the lowest point. This is called the lowest point. Now at the lowest point, the speed will be maximum. Why? Because as it moves up, there is a gain in potential energy. If there is a gain in potential energy, there has to be a loss in kinetic energy. So if there is a loss in kinetic energy, that means speed is decreasing. So at the lowest point, speed is maximum. Now if the speed is maximum at the lowest point, and mg cos theta is also maximum at the lowest point. Why? Because at the lowest point, theta is 0. If theta is 0, cos theta is 1. So speed is also maximum at the lowest point. Cos theta is also maximum at the lowest point. That means the second point here will be tension will be maximum at the lowest point. Tension will be maximum at the lowest point. Okay. Third, below the horizontal line, if the ball is below the horizontal line, and suppose you have not given sufficient speed at this point, then it might not cross the horizontal line. If it is unable to cross the horizontal line, then at some point the velocity will become 0. If it is unable to cross the horizontal line, means speed here that you have given is not sufficient to take it above the horizontal line, because the speed constantly decreases because of the tangential acceleration. So if it is unable to cross the horizontal line, at some point you will say that velocity becomes 0. Velocity becomes 0. So suppose this is the point where velocity becomes 0. Okay, solving part we will do it later. First we will understand what is the complexity of motion here. Now when you have given it sufficient speed to reach above the horizontal line, so the first point was tension above the horizontal line is mv square by L minus mg cos theta. See, in this case, tension can be 0 at some point above the horizontal line. Tension can be 0 at some point above the horizontal line. Tension can be 0 at some point above the horizontal line. And when tension is 0, then you will say mv square by L is equal to mg cos theta. That means V is equal to root GL cos theta. So this is the speed when the tension becomes 0. So below the horizontal line, tension cannot be 0, but speed can be 0. But above the horizontal line, what you are seeing? You are seeing that tension can be 0, but speed will not be 0. Because when the tension becomes 0, still there is speed. When the tension becomes 0, still there is speed. So when the tension becomes 0, that is, the string becomes loose, in that case also, what you will say, in that case also there will be some velocity, so even if the tension becomes 0, there still will be some velocity. Okay, that means when the ball reaches, suppose at this point, and the tension becomes 0 here, in that case you will say that because the string has become loose, you will say that at this point the particle cease to be in a circular motion. The particle cease to be in a circular motion. And what is the reason for that? Because the string has become loose. So now it cannot perform circular motion. But it has speed, right? It has speed. So if it has speed, you will say that at this point, free fall projectile motion starts. Free fall projectile motion starts. At this point, free fall projectile motion starts at this point because it has some speed. It is good if you can learn this formula. Means when the tension becomes 0 above the horizontal line, the speed is root GL cos theta. Okay, so there is a difference between the case when the string is below the horizontal line and when the string is above the horizontal line. When the string is below the horizontal line, tension cannot be 0. Velocity becomes 0 at some point if it is unable to cross the horizontal line. But if it crosses the horizontal line, but still it does not have sufficient velocity to complete the vertical circle, and then at some point tension will become 0. And if tension becomes 0, still there will be speed. But when tension becomes 0, the particle ceases to be in a circular motion. In that case, the string becomes loose and the particle starts to perform free fall projectile motion. Okay. Suppose you have given enough velocity at the lowest point so that it is able to reach the topmost point without tension becoming 0. Now at the topmost point, if it is able to reach, only for that case we are talking, at the topmost point, what will happen? Tension will be mv square by L minus mg cos theta. Theta is 0, so mg. Now you know that at the topmost point speed will be minimum. At the topmost point speed will be minimum. Why the speed will be minimum? Because the maximum gain in potential energy will lead to maximum loss of kinetic energy. So at the topmost point the speed will be minimum. So this is minimum, this is maximum. So what will happen to the tension? Tension will be lowest at the topmost point. Tension will be lowest at the topmost point. Tension will be lowest at the topmost point. Now we will look at different cases for what speed that you can give at the lowest point so that the particle is able to cross the horizontal line or it is below the horizontal line. So let us see case 1. So this is case 1. In this case, we are giving a speed to the ball at the lowest point that is less than root 2 GL, where L is the length of the string. In this case, you will say that the ball is unable to cross the horizontal line and it remains below the horizontal line. Now, if it remains below the horizontal line, then the velocity will become zero, but the tension cannot become zero. Suppose at the highest point here, the tension becomes zero. So you will say that in case 1, when V is less than root 2 GL, ball will be unable to cross the horizontal line. Ball will be unable to cross the horizontal line and it will oscillate. It will oscillate with certain angular amplitude. So again I am repeating, if V is less than root 2 GL, in that case you will say that the ball will oscillate. It is unable to cross the horizontal line. Now what will be the tension at this point? The tension at this point will be, so suppose this point is A, this point is B, then tension at point B will be mg cos theta. That's it. Because V has become 0, the tension becomes mg cos theta, and this is the minimum tension. And tension at A will be how much? Mg plus mv square by L, right? Now let us look at the case when the speed is root 2 GL. So if the speed is root 2 GL, in that case you will say that the particle just reaches the horizontal line. In this case you will say that the particle just reaches the horizontal line. The particle just reaches the horizontal line. So in that case, at this point the velocity becomes 0. Okay, if you give a speed of root 2 GL, at this point the speed will become 0. Now what will be the tension at this point? At this point the tension will be mg plus mv square by L. Now because the speed is root 2 GL, so speed square will be 2 GL. So the tension at the lowest point in this case is 3 mg, and the tension here becomes what? Tension here becomes 0. So at the horizontal line, tension and velocity simultaneously becomes 0. Okay, if the speed is root 2 GL. Why the tension is 0? Because there is no component of mg cos theta here. And there is no centripetal force also because V is 0. Okay, mg is vertical. So there is no component of gravity along the horizontal line. Okay, and in this case also you will say particle will oscillate with angular amplitude 90 degree. With angular amplitude pi by 2. Now let us look at a case when the speed becomes greater than root 2 GL but it is less than root 5 GL. Speed is greater than root 2 GL but less than root 5 GL. In that case, the ball will be able to cross the horizontal line but still it will not reach the topmost point. The tension will become 0 at one point between the topmost point and the horizontal line. So suppose this is the point when tension becomes 0. This is the point where tension becomes 0. So in this case, what will happen? I will write again. Ball will be able to cross the horizontal line but ball will be able to cross the horizontal line, but what will happen? But it will not complete the vertical circle. But it will not complete the vertical circle. In this case, you will say that tension will become 0 at some point. Tension becomes 0 at some point. And in this case, there will be no oscillation. Why? Because when tension becomes zero, at that point there is some speed, and due to that speed it will perform projectile motion. At this point the speed is root GL cos theta, and due to this speed it will now perform a projectile motion. Suppose this is the H max of the projectile motion. Okay, so the ball will perform a projectile motion after the point when tension becomes zero, because when tension becomes zero the speed does not become zero, there is some speed. Okay, means tension becomes zero first above the horizontal line. Below the horizontal line velocity becomes zero at some point if the speed is not sufficient, but tension cannot become zero. Now let us discuss the case when speed is exactly equal to root 5 GL. So this is case 4. If speed is exactly equal to root 5 GL, in that case you will say that the particle just completes the vertical circle. That means at this point tension becomes zero. At this point tension becomes zero. But when tension is zero, speed is not zero. There is some speed. Due to this speed, what will happen is it will move here, and as soon as it moves here, again tension comes and it completes the vertical circle. Okay, so this is the minimum possible speed. This is the minimum speed which must be given to the ball at the lowest point. This is the minimum speed which must be given to the ball at the lowest point so that ball completes a vertical circle. Ball completes a vertical circle. Okay, so because when you give the speed root 5 GL, then the tension becomes zero at topmost point. Now when the tension becomes zero at the topmost point, in that case, due to this speed, due to this momentum, it comes in this direction, and once it reaches here, again tension comes, and again tension comes. That means again it will perform the circle. Okay, so when you give a speed of root 5 GL, it is just able to complete the vertical circle. So, and in this case, again there will be no oscillation. And what is the speed at this point? You know that the speed when tension becomes zero is root GL cos theta. At this point theta is zero. So the speed here is root GL. The speed here is root GL. At the topmost point, the speed is root GL. Now in this case, let us see what will be the speeds and tension at different points. So in this case, you will see here that at the lowest point, you know that at the lowest point, tension is mg plus mv square by L. So that will be equal to mg plus m5gl by L. L cancel, you get the tension as 6 mg. Okay, at this point the speed will be, when it moves from here to here, the speed will be root 3 GL. At this point the speed will be root GL. Again at this point the speed will be root 3 GL. At this point the tension will be what? At this point there is no force of gravity. So at this point tension will be mv square by L. So at this point the tension will be mv square by L, that is m3gl by L, that is 3 mg. Here the tension is zero, that we have already discussed. Now what are the some of the points that you can remember here? First point that you can remember here is T at lowest point minus T at horizontal line is always 3 mg. Whenever there is complete circle, the tension difference is always 3 mg. Second, even if the speed is greater than root 5 GL, I am writing it in general, the tension at the horizontal line minus the tension at the topmost point is also equal to 3 mg, always. Third, tension at lowest point minus tension at highest point is always equal to 6 mg. 6 mg minus 0, right? Also, the speed difference here, see, suppose you will write fourth point I am writing here, V lowest point square minus V highest point square. So yes, okay, highest point square will always be equal to 4gl. See, 5gl minus gl, 4gl, always. Similarly, V lowest point square minus V horizontal line square will be equal to 5gl minus 3gl, that is 2gl. Always. See, suppose let us name this point A, name this point B, this point C, and this point D. Then in this chart we are seeing what are the velocities at A, B, D and C. Okay, and then also at any general point. So velocity at A will be root 5gl, at B and D will be root 3gl, at C will be root gl for this case. The tension will be 6 mg, 3 mg, 0. This is at for any general point. If you can remember, that is very good. Otherwise, we'll use energy conservation to find velocity at any general point. Then the potential energy at this point with respect to the reference line. Let us assume this is the reference line. So at the reference, we assume the potential energy to be 0. And other points potential energy we will calculate with respect to this line. And you know that the potential energy, gravitational potential energy depends on the height. So at the lowest point, the potential energy is 0. At this point, the height rise is L. And at this point, the height rise is 2L. So 0 mgl, 2 mgl. At any general point, the height rise will be, at any general point, let us see what will be the height rise. At any general point, the height rise will be this. And if this is L, this is theta, then this is how much? This is L cos theta. But we do not need L cos theta. We need this line. This is the height rise. Height rise is L minus L cos theta. That is L into 1 minus cos theta. So this is the height rise, L into 1 minus cos theta. So this is the potential energy at any general point with respect to the reference line, which is fixed at the bottommost point or the lowest point. Then what is the radial acceleration? You know that radial acceleration is V square by L. So just do V square by L, 5gl by L, 5g. Similarly here 3gl by L, that is 3g. gl by L, that is g. What is the tangential acceleration? Now tangential acceleration at this point is 0. Why? Because mg is downwards. There is no component along the tangent. At this point, the tangential acceleration is directly g. Why? Because g is already perpendicular to the line. At this point, the tangential acceleration is again 0. So you will say 0, g, 0. And at any general point, the tangential acceleration is g sine theta. Now, if speed is greater than root 5gl, then the particle will complete the vertical circle easily. Let us take one example when the speed is root 6gl. When the speed is root 6gl, then you will say the tension here is 7 mg. Because mg plus m 6gl by L will become 7 mg. One more than this coefficient, always. And the difference has to be fixed. So you will say here the speed will be root 4gl. And here the tension will be 4 mg. Similarly here the difference has to be fixed, so it will be root 2gl. And here the tension will be mg. Means in this situation at no point the tension will be 0. The lowest tension will be mg, the highest tension will be 7 mg. And this point is same as this point. Now let us derive these relations. So case 1 was when V is less than root 2gl at the lowest point. So let us take one example when V is equal to root gl. So when V is equal to root gl, in that case, suppose it reaches a maximum angle of theta. To find this maximum angle, we will use law of conservation of mechanical energy. You know that law of mechanical energy conservation states that the gain in potential energy will be equal to the loss in kinetic energy. Now when it is moving upwards, it is gaining. Now the gain in potential energy or gain in gravitational potential energy depends on the gain in height. So this is the height gained. If this is L cos theta, and this total length is L. So the height gain is L minus L cos theta. L minus L cos theta is the height gain. So the gain in potential energy will be mg L minus L cos theta. And this has to be equal to the loss in kinetic energy. Now you know that when v is less than root 2 gl, it reaches below the horizontal line. Below the horizontal line, the velocity becomes 0 at the highest point. So if in this case the velocity is become 0, then what will be the loss in kinetic energy? It will be half mv square. Initial velocity is root gl minus the final velocity is 0. The final kinetic energy is 0. Now if you solve this, you will get cos theta is equal to half, which implies theta is equal to 60 degree. So the maximum angle, or you can also say the amplitude of oscillation of this pendulum is 60 degree. Now in case 2, v is equal to root 2 gl. Now when v is equal to root 2 gl, at the lowest point, let us assume that it has reached an angle theta. So again the same thing that you will do is the height gained is the gain in potential energy. So the gain in potential energy is mgl into 1 minus cos theta, and this has to be equal to the loss in kinetic energy. At the highest point below the horizontal line, v is 0. So you will write half m 2 gl minus 0. So from this you will get cos theta is equal to 0. From this you will get theta is equal to 90 degree. That means when you project this ball with a speed of root 2 gl from the lowest point, it reaches the horizontal line. Okay, because theta has come out to be 90 degree. So the gain in potential energy is mgl. In case 3, we take any speed between root 2 gl to root 5 gl. Okay, so in this case, let us take one example where we have taken the speed as root 3 gl at the lowest point. Now if speed is root 3 gl at the lowest point, you know that it will not complete a vertical circle, but it will cross the horizontal line. Suppose it has reached this point, and at this point the tension becomes 0. But you know that when tension becomes 0, the velocity is still there. So the velocity is equal to root gl cos theta at this point. Right? Now again you will use the conservation of mechanical energy from this point to this point. So you will write gain in potential energy is equal to the loss in kinetic energy. So the gain in this case is L, and from here it is L cos theta. So we will write the gain is mg L into 1 plus cos theta, because this time L plus L cos theta is the gain in height. Okay, and this has to be equal to the loss in kinetic energy. Now the loss in kinetic energy will be half m 3 gl minus half m gl cos theta. I've already told you when the tension becomes 0, the velocity is root gl cos theta. Okay, so when you solve this, you will get cos theta is equal to 1 by 3, or theta is equal to cos inverse 1 by 3. Now you know that at this point the tension has become 0, that is the particle ceased to be in a circular motion, but it still has velocity. And the velocity at this point is root gl cos theta. Now you've calculated the value of cos theta, so you will write here velocity is equal to root gl by 3. Now the tension has become 0, but it has velocity at this point, so it will now perform a free fall projectile motion. So now it will perform a projectile motion, and suppose this is the maximum height reached by the projectile. Then you know that the maximum height, this is the maximum height, is given by u square sine square theta divided by 2g. right? So maximum height here will be, now the speed here is GL by 3 root. So U square will be GL by 3 multiplied by cos theta is 1 by 3. So cos square theta is 1 by 9. So sin square theta is 8 by 9. So this will be 8 by 9 divided by 2G. G cancel. So you will get 4L by 27. So if they ask you what is the maximum height reached by the ball, the maximum height reached by the ball will be equal to, so from here it has started, it has gained L cos theta, and it has also gained 4L by 27. So you will write L plus L cos theta plus 4L by 27. Okay, when you add this 3, you will get the maximum height reached by the ball. The maximum height reached by the ball is not at this point, but at this point. Okay, now let us take case 4. So we need to find the minimum velocity at the lowest point. We need to find the minimum velocity at the lowest point such that particle completes vertical circle. Now for particle to complete the vertical circle, let the speed given is v mean. Okay. Now particle will complete the vertical circle when tension becomes 0 at the highest point. When tension becomes 0, the velocity will be root GL cos theta, that is theta here is 0, so we will write v is equal to root GL. So the velocity at the highest point has to be equal to root GL, or the tension has to be 0 at the highest point. In that case, due to this velocity, it will have a momentum and it will move in this direction, and once it moves in this direction, tension again appears and this particle then completes the vertical circle. So if you apply conservation of mechanical energy, you will say the gain in height this time is 2L. The gain in height is 2L. So you will write mg2L is equal to loss in kinetic energy, and that will be half mv mean square minus half mv square. V here is root GL, then means v square will be GL. So from this, if you solve this, you will get v min is equal to root 5 GL. So the minimum velocity that should be given to the ball at the lowest point to complete the vertical circle is root 5 GL in case of a string. Now what if you give a speed greater than root 5 GL? So let us take one example here. Suppose you have given a speed root 6 GL. And you know that in this case it will complete the vertical circle, and we need to find tension. Suppose at this point A, which is at an angle 60 degree, tension at point B, tension at point C during the motion. Okay, now you know that this particle will complete the vertical circle, right? So let us assume that the speed here is v. Okay, so in that case you will say that by conservation of mechanical energy, the gain in potential energy from O to C, the gain in potential energy from O to C will be equal to mg 2L, and this has to be equal to the loss in kinetic energy, and that will be half m 6 GL minus half mv square. So from this you will get the value of velocity as root 2 GL. When you solve this, you will get the value of velocity as root 2 GL. So the speed at this point is root 2 GL. Now similarly, if you want to find the speed at point B, you will again use the conservation of mechanical energy from O to B. So the conservation of mechanical energy from O to B, if you apply, you will write mgl is the gain in potential energy, because this time the height gained is L, has to be equal to the loss in kinetic energy, and that will be equal to half m 6 GL minus, suppose the speed here is VB, so you'll write half m VB square. So from this, you when you solve this, you will get VB is equal to root 4 GL. Now once you get the velocity at B, you can also find the tension at B. We will find it. First, let us find the velocity at A. Similarly, conservation of mechanical energy from O to A will give you, from O to A will give you, again, the gain in potential energy is equal to the loss in kinetic energy. This time the gain is this length, and this is how much? L into 1 minus cos 60. Cos 60 is half, so this gain is L by 2. So you will write mg, L by 2 is the gain in potential energy, and this will be equal to the loss in kinetic energy, and that will be half m6gl minus, so what is the speed here? Let us assume it is VA. So half m6gl minus half m VA square. So from this you will get VA is equal to root 5 GL. Now we need to find the tension. So to find the tension, you know that below the horizontal line, tension is mg cos theta plus mv square by L. So at point O is below the horizontal line, at point O, tension will be mg, theta is 0 degree at point O, so mg plus m6gl by L, and that is equal to 7 mg. At point A, tension will be equal to mg cos 60 plus m 5gl by L. Why? Because the velocity at point A is 5g, root 5gl, right? So from this you will get mg by 2 plus 5 mg, and that will be equal to 11 mg by 2. If you want to find the tension at point B, then you will say tension is equal to mg cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So this is 0 plus m. The speed there was root 4 GL. So you will write 4 GL by L. So the tension at point B will be 4 mg. Similarly, if you want to find the tension at point C, now point C is above the horizontal line. So you know that above the horizontal line, tension is given by mv square by L minus mg cos theta. At point C, we need to find the tension. So at point C, the velocity is 2gl divided by L minus mg cos 0, because at the highest point the theta will be 0. So from this you will get the tension is equal to mg. Now we will discuss the vertical circular motion in case of a rod. Now for a rod, the most important thing is you have to understand that a rod can handle both tensile and compressive force. Tensile means which tries to stretch, and compressive means which tries to compress. String cannot handle compressive force, because when you try to compress the spring, it becomes slack, but the rod will not become slack. A rod can handle both tensile and compressive force. That means the rod will not slack. That means you will not make the tension as 0 for the rod, because when tensile tension was to become 0, at that point the compressive tension starts to act. So that means in the case of a rod, the tension cannot be 0. So in case of a rod, tension cannot be 0. In case of a rod, tension cannot be 0. So in this case, what you will do is, in this case, you will make the velocity 0 at the highest point. So in this case, at the highest point, whatever be the highest point, you will not make tension as 0, but you will make the velocity as 0. Okay. So in this case, first important point is below the horizontal line. Below the horizontal line, all values are same as string, because below the horizontal line rod also tries to stretch and the string also tries to stretch. So that means V equal to root GL, it will rise to an angle 60 degree. V equal to root 2 GL, it will rise to at an angle 90 degree. Okay, but in this case the minimum velocity at the lowest point for which vertical circular motion is completed is root 4 GL. Why? Because in this case what you will do is, in this case you will make the velocity 0 at the highest point and not the tension. So in this case, if you use the law of conservation of mechanical energy, you will say that the gain in potential energy is mg2l and the loss in kinetic energy is half m v min square minus 0. So that means v min is equal to root 4 gl. So in this case, the minimum speed that you have to give at the lowest point is root 4 gl and not root 5 gl. That was given in case of a ring, right? So at this point the velocity will be, the difference of this coefficient is still 2, so this will be root 2 gl, right? In the case of string it was root 3 gl, in the case of a rod it will be root 2 gl at this point. Okay, and this velocity will be root 4 gl. Okay, so above the horizontal line, in case of a rod, you will make the velocity 0 whatever be the highest point, okay, and not the tension. Because at the point when the tensile tension was to become 0 or was to vanish, it starts to act the compressive tension. But in string that is not an option. In string there cannot be a compressive tension. Okay.
Hello students, if you like my work, do hit the like button and share my work with your friends. Also, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. You'll be notified when I upload my next video.